Okay, and in the earlier second session of this fifth unit, we were studying the bus topology. So according to the pictorial diagram, so this is how the structure looks like. The advantages are it is easy for installation, it requires one backbone cable and less cabling than the mesh or star topology as it uses a multi-point connection. So sharing of the line or the communication link is there. But challenges are difficult for reconnection and fault isolation and difficult to add the new devices too. Because of the type of connection it is done with the taps and a drop line is required. But in case if there is any fault occurs, then signal reflection at the taps can cause degradation in the quality. Damaged area reflects the signal back in the direction of origin and it creates some noise and disrupts the signal during the transmission, and it may happen in both the directions. So next, moving ahead towards the ring topology. So ring topology structure is like this, wherein it is connected through different nodes, and if you observe, every node is connected with other two nodes on both the sides of that particular station or the node. And for the connection we use the repeaters that regenerates the signals to avoid the degradation of the strength of the signal, original strength of the signal. This is again another pictorial representation how we can show the ring topology. So it indicates each device has a dedicated point-to-point link connection. So again it has the advantages as mentioned in the case of a mesh. What are the advantages of dedicated point-to-point link? Only two devices are connected on either side, so it requires the two ports for connection. Signal is passed along the ring in one direction from device to device until it reaches its destination. So if this is a particular node which has to transfer the packet, then it will be transferred from this device to this device, again back this, and then it will be received by the other port through the other port to the destination. Suppose destination is this particular node. So signal is passed along the ring in one direction from device to device until it reaches its destination. Task of the repeaters, which we have seen in the earlier pictorial representation, it regenerates the bits and passes it ahead. Comparatively, again, it's easy for installation and again easy for the reconfiguration as every node is connected to its two adjacent nodes only. What are the constraints? Constraints are relevant to the media and traffic consideration. Traffic considerations in the sense that even if it is a point-to-point connection, but in case if this node has to transfer the data to this particular node, still it has to come and travel this much distance and then it has to go back in the form of an acknowledgement of the signals. So media required is more, as well as the traffic, considering the traffic at a time many signals cannot be transferred. So traffic consideration is also a one concern here. Then the fault isolation is simplified. That is one advantage of the point-to-point connectivity. But what solution can be then instead of unidirectional? If the unidirectional traffic can be a disadvantage, that's why traffic can be there if a continuously sending of the messages is there, as there is only one way. A break in the ring can disable the entire network. But in case if there is a fault in one of the communication link, then it may disable entire network unless and until this fault has been isolated or the troubleshooted. But the advantage is it is easy for reconfiguration and finding out the faults if it is there any. So this was about the ring topology. So this is the hybrid topology wherein, so if you see from the originally, it uses the star topology. This acts as a one controller, which is also called as a hub station, to which the different nodes are connected. Again, this is also a hub station to which in a star manner here it is connected. This is the example wherein we can call this as a bus topology. And yes, this is a complete bus topology that is part of this network, and here it is connected in a ring structure, maybe this to this and this to this. So the combination of multiple topologies can be combined together so that we can have the advantage of each and everything, and then it can be designing of the hybrid topology. This is also the description is a main star topology with each branch connecting several stations in a bus topology are shown in the diagram. So this is one more example, a star backbone with 3 bus networks. So at the backbone it has a star topology where the hub is connected with the 3 main lines, and everything of these main lines are connected to the other stations and other nodes, wherein this is example of the bus topology. So combination of star and the bus. So this is what we have done, completed with the topology and its details. We can have the comparison and analysis. Now next, moving ahead towards the network models. So what are the network models and what are the network? Now whenever the network is designed, in order to design the networks, some standards should be followed. So network requires the standards and protocols to be followed. So what are the advantages of these protocols and standards? What is the need of that? We'll see shortly. But whenever the networks are designed, that works on the principle of some standard models. So one of them, which was initial, was the open system interconnection model, which has the 7 layer. So it is a 7 layer network. Another is the internet model, which is also called as a TCP/IP suite, which has the 5 layers total. So we'll be seeing both these models in more details in next sessions. But right now, how we can categorize the networks? Instead of going actually with the models, let us learn and have some details, brief details about the local area network, wide area network, metropolitan area network. So categories of the networks are LAN, WAN and MAN. Now going ahead. So this is a pictorial again diagram that indicates isolated LAN connecting 12 computers to a hub station. Isolated is a separate independent LAN. So it's isolated is the word used. This is a hub station. In a star mode it is connected. So it is connected 1, 2, 3, 4. So total 12 computers are connected to a hub station. So this can be example of a LAN. Now what are the important features of the LAN? So usually LAN is privately owned. It can be established within a area of a single office, within a building, maybe in a campus the way we have in our institute. It includes within a network, we also can have the peripherals that are interfaced with the nodes so as to provide the input in the form of a microphones, and for the display purpose also we can have all those within our network as a peripherals, audio video peripherals. Such a network can be of many nodes connected together, or even if there is a one particular PC connected to one printer, and if both of them are in a network, that also can be called as a small local area network. So the area to which it is limited is, it is within a few kilometers of space. We can have the sharing of multiple resources like hardware, printers, scanners, Xerox machines, all them can combine in a one model, it can be there. Also we can have the sharing of different software, application programs or data, like if you are having a server and client model, then one particular PC with large drive size can be used as a server, and from that particular machine rest of the machines can share the particular software. That is what we call it as a application program. That is also an example of a LAN. LAN uses only one type of transmission medium. Yes. Then what are the different topologies that can be used under the LAN are bus topology, ring topology, star topologies. Mesh topology, as we have seen its advantages, disadvantages, it's rarely used, it has limited uses, even if it has advantages, but because of the restrictions on the media and the space requirement, hardware requirement. So in the LAN's preferred net topologies are bus, ring and star topology. The data rate at which LAN works can be within the range of 100 to 1000 megabits per second. Again, we can have the not only wired LANs but also wireless LANs also. Along with this, licensing restrictions on the number of users per copy of the software, that is relevant to this particular point. Resources shared. Suppose there is one particular PC, we call it as a server PC, and the server PC has a license copy of one particular software, but it users maximum it can be 10. So within the particular LAN which is going to share all the different nodes, so maximum 10 users are allowed with the license copy, then the 10 users can be there within the LAN. And that's why similarly restrictions on the number of users licensed to access the operating system as well it can be. So these are the few simple points relevant to the LAN structure. Now wide area network. So wide area network provides long distance transmission of data in the form of images, text data, numbers. Data may be in the form of audio information, video information, and these are transferred, shared over a large geographical areas that may comprise a country, continent, even the world, global. So these are the examples of a WAN. The wide area networks can be categorized or configured as a switched wireless networks, wide area networks, or the point-to-point wireless area network, so wide area networks. So these are some examples of the WAN. So X.25 frame relays, asynchronous transfer mode networks, and wireless WAN. So here the two are shown here. Under the switched wide area networks, end systems are connected at the large scale areas over the WAN. While in case of the point-to-point wide area networks, the connection is between the one single computer to the modem, which provides the which is used as a connectivity. And point-to-point WAN, the example can be again modem with the internet service providers. So if there is a single laptop to which I am using the broadband connections, so when you are having the particular cable and that is to be connected with the laptop, that is the example of a point-to-point wireless or wide area networks. Switched wide area network, it has widespread, not locally, but it is a globally. Next is the MAN. So metropolitan area. Metropolitan area network is a network with a size between LAN and WAN. So it may consist of area inside a town or within a city. So examples can be part of the telephone company network that can provide a high-speed digital subscribers line to the customer. So this is an example. Another can be a cable TV network that originally was designed for cable TV, and nowadays it also can be used as a data connectivity, high-speed data connection to the internet. Going ahead, there can be the combination of different networks. Always it may not be isolated. We cannot identify and isolate LAN, WAN, MAN separately. It can be interconnection of different networks that we call it as the internet. When two or more networks are connected, they become an internetwork, or it is also called as a internet. So this is an example, heterogeneous network with 4 WANs and 2 LANs. So this is one switched area wide area network. This is a point-to-point WAN. This is a point-to-point WAN, and this is also one of the WAN. And along with that, 2 of the LANs are connected here. So this is an example of a heterogeneous network with 4 WANs and the 2 LANs. Now, in order to continue with these protocols and standards, protocol is a set of rules that govern the data communications, and key elements of a protocols are syntax, semantics, and timings. What the syntax indicates is, so protocols are the set of rules that are required to be agreed upon by both the ends in order to have the communication. So syntax indicates what is the structure of the format of the particular data. So for an example, when the message is to be conveyed, syntax may be in the form of a first 8-bit indicates sender address, second 8-bit conveys the receiver address, and rest of the bits within the message is actually message itself. Semantics conveys what is the meaning of each section of the bits. So pattern to be interpreted, what is the pattern to be interpreted from the given data. So what is the action to be taken, and address identify route destination of the message. It means if there is a set of bits, what actually message is conveyed by the set of bits will be given by the semantics. So either the set of bits may convey what route should be followed by the packets, or what is the destination of the particular message. That is what the protocols. Timing is when and how fast the data should be sent, that is given by the timing details. So protocol has syntax, semantics, and timings. So there should be synchronization between sender and receiver end. Sender, if it can transmit the data at 100 Mbps, and receiver can receive the data not more than at 1 Mbps, then there has to be synchronization. Otherwise, the receiver may get overloaded. That is what the protocol said. So in the next session, we'll start with the standards and actually layers in the different OS and